Hello, everyone. I'm Michelle Cordy. I'm a transformational coach. I am on a mission to help people from their caterpillar stage in their life where they feel stuck and stagnant into their butterfly where they want to soar and disbelieve and be their authentic self. I speak about many pillars, and today is the pillar of divorce. And the topic is what happened after I experienced my spiritual awakening before my husband and now ex-husband. So in 2017, I felt like I had start of my spiritual awakening. If you ever hear of the term tower moments, dark night of the soul, these are moments that I was going through. I had lost my job of 9 years in marketing due to many changes. I was one of 10 at the beginning of my career, and I was the last one standing. And I was let go to a reduction in workforce, and they were restructuring the corporate where I reported to, not where I was at my location, but I reported to corporate. That was the start of it. Even though I was unhappy in that role because of all the changes, you're not ready to be told that you're no longer wanted at a job that you had gave your heart and soul to. And then I was dealing with depression. My dad had 2 strokes by now, was living in a nursing home and pretty much gave up on his life. And he passed away on Thanksgiving Day of that same year, April 2017. So I felt that these were starts of my spiritual awakening because I was asking the universe. And when I say universe, I talk about God, spirit guides, soul guides, the spiritual realm. And at this point, I said, God, just take me. I just want to be with my dad because I didn't know what I was going through. And then fast forward to 2020 of the fall, this is when I really had my awakening. To try to explain your spiritual awakening where you know inside, it's a feeling, it's an intuition. You got to trust your intuition and gut and know that there's more to life into what you're seeing, that we're seeing illusions and that we can create our own reality. And there's different worlds that we live in, such as the physical world of 3D and then the 5D of New Earth, which I'll explain sometime in further videos. However, I knew that there was more to life than what I was experiencing. And you start remembering things that things were buried in your subconscious that are come up consciously. And when you're trying to explain what you're going through, a spiritual awakening to, at the time, my husband, I couldn't put into words what I was going through and experiencing. And that's freaking hard. It's so hard. However, I knew in my heart of hearts that I had to do and fulfill and I couldn't find at the time, my soul mission and purpose. And when I was let go of my role, like I said, of 9 years in marketing, I didn't know what I wanted to do next. And that was the soul trying to figure out what I was supposed to be doing. However, I was just stuck and stagnant, and the depression was just getting worse because I couldn't figure it out. I was asking other people, what am I good at? And the only person that you should rely on is yourself. And I was struggling so hard to figure that out. It was so freaking hard. It took me 16 months to find my next role. And I had attended a job seeker support group, and I love helping people. And I was helping so many people that were going through that room. I was putting everybody before me, and I wasn't taking care of me because at the time I was a people pleaser. I didn't know how to set boundaries for myself, but I loved helping people, connecting people, listening to people. And that's when I knew I wanted to be a coach. But my husband at the time was accusing me that I didn't want to get a job. But I knew in my soul that I couldn't go back to corporate America, but at the time, I couldn't figure out how to do the coaching. and doing what you love without going back to the 3D world and discovering your purpose and aligning with it. That's what I was trying to figure out, but it was so hard. And I wanted to contribute to the marriage, but I didn't want to go back to corporate job, which I hated and which was restoring my mental health. After I did find my next role, I was so miserable. And no ill will to the company I worked for and the people, but it was just not what I was supposed to be doing. And then fast forward to COVID, I was on a temporary furlough, and when I was asked to call back a couple months later, I resigned because I worked on trying to be a coach and invested in an international coaching program. And it wasn't the program that helped me. It was the people. It was the people in that program that believed in me, that got me for who I am. It became some of my greatest friends. And I learned so much about me. And again, it was the program that wasn't in alignment with most of us. But it was the people throughout the world that I met, where I started to lower my walls, talk about things that I couldn't speak to other people, such as at the time my husband, because he couldn't get me for me. And that's hard to put into words and communication. And when I tried to put things into perspective with him, I just felt shut down because I couldn't find the words. And when you feel shut down, you just stay stuck and stagnant. And that is unfortunate because you're trying to communicate and you feel like you're not being seen, heard, and valued. And all I kept hearing is, you need to get a job, you need to get a job. And I did. And then, I had been suffering with depression to begin with, and the depression just got worse. I was thinking thoughts in my head. Not that I would do it, but I was thinking suicidal thoughts. I just hated my life at the time. And I never spoke those words, but when you know in your heart of hearts that you're supposed to be fulfilling your soul mission and you're just not sure how to get there, but you know that there's an inner calling within. It's a feeling. Sometimes you just can't explain it. But when you know, you got to find a way to do it. That's why we're here. That's what we're here to do, or find our soul mission and purpose. And that's what I'm doing now. When I became a coach, after I resigned from my last corporate role that I was very unhappy in, after asked to be called back from being on a temporary furlough, I was just diving deep into learning about coaching, networking. And my platform I was mainly on at the time was LinkedIn. And I was just putting myself out there and building relationships with people and having so many Zoom calls with other coaches. And at the time I was, and I hate labels, but at the time I was labeling myself a career coach because I had been in a 16-month career transition and I learned a lot. And I had a passion, again, for helping people, and still do. But at the time, I had learned so many things about being in career transition. That was my passion at the time. So I was talking to other career coaches. I was having so many conversations. I was just always on my computer. And then, people were referring to me, you need to talk to this person. And it was very overwhelming because I'm trying to figure out myself how I want to have experiences in being a career coach and trying to stand out from the other career coaches. And I was just meeting so many wonderful people around the world. And then these people were also, some of them were going through their spiritual awakening. So it was finally, wow, these people get me for me. I don't have to feel like I am going crazy. It was so wonderful talking to like-minded people. And that's, again, when I started to lower my walls and trying to find my true authentic self, because I was taking the time networking with people who were interested in the same fields as me and who wanted to introduce me in my coaching services, because word of mouth recommendations are still the best recommendations. And that's what you have to do. You have to get to know people in order to be recommended to others. And that's what I was doing. I was in this to really learn, not only about myself, but from others. I wanted to know people's stories. And it wasn't just coaches I was talking to. I was talking to people just like myself. And unfortunately, my husband at the time accused me of emotional cheating. And that was hard. And I hate emotional cheating. What the hell is even emotional cheating? He has coworkers. He talks to people. Is that emotional cheating? He opens up to people. He has friends to talk to, and that was a big thing about, when I open up to somebody, I trust you. And I don't want you to go run into your best friend at the time, or going to your mom and, telling you everything that I am telling you. That was another, I won't communicate with you, I'll shut down moment. And that happened a lot. And that's when I just stopped the communication, because when you're not being seen, heard, and valued for who you are, it's hard. It's really hard. And I just felt shut down. In November 2020, we talked about getting divorced. And I even suggested going to counseling then. And he said no. So things got a little bit better. But fast forward to November of 2023, it's when I told him I wanted a divorce. We gave it a shot. And again, I've said in other videos, I have no ill will. Chapter's closed for a reason. And I'm very, very proud of my growth because of the inner work I've done. And I didn't stay a career coach very long. And I don't put that on my LinkedIn, and I just kept it Transformational Coach because of my true transformation of myself. So again, I walk my talk, and that's how I got to where I am now. And it was hard to provide when I was being questioned and challenged every time I tried to leave my comfort zone. And at some point, I stopped opening up to him as much because I felt like I was being attacked for even trying to do something, because I was working so hard to try to make this work as being, at the time, a career coach. And I felt like my trust was violated. I felt like it was unsafe to be who I am because he was sharing with other people. And he didn't understand that, or chose not to. I met wonderful people, and I still do, from so many of my platforms, talking about LinkedIn particularly right now. And I met wonderful people on that international coaching program. However, I said, it wasn't the program that helped, it was the people. We would be put into breakout rooms when we have our coaching. And I truly believe in divine intervention, divine timing. And I met two, in particular, beautiful souls at the time. One I'm still connected to. I love her dearly. She's one of my dearest soul sisters. And we got each other because we were going through our spiritual awakening. Shout out to my dear soul sister, Helen. Love you so much. And there was another gal who I'm no longer connected to, unfortunately. She believed in angels. And my husband at the time mocked my spirituality and the people in my life, and especially her, because she believed in angels and she believed in people speaking to her and all the magical stuff that I have experienced myself, which discouraged me from embracing my true intuitive self at the time. And at this time, this person got me. However, unfortunately, when I started going inward and working on me even further, she disconnected me, and we no longer talk, and it's been almost a year now. But If you heard my videos before, people come into your life for a reason, a season. And sometimes it's just, to trigger you and things that are buried subconsciously, to bring it up consciously, to help reawaken yourself, because we've been in a slumber. There's so much behind the scenes that we don't know about that will be coming out in the world. Done a lot of research. Some may say I might be a conspiracy theorist, and my ex did. There's going to be so much coming out worldly, and I'm proud of myself for everything I've been through and everything I continue to be, but most importantly for loving me and believing in myself, because that's what you have to do. This human experience isn't easy at all. We are souls experiencing this human experience, I believe, and you have to find like-minded people who get you for who you truly are. And that's what I've done, and that's what I want to do and continue to do. And that's why I love helping people help rediscover themselves. I once felt like I was buried in a ditch, and I felt like I had to go through the vines and the darkness. And each time I keep working on myself, I keep peeling back the layers, remove the dirt in this ditch, and I keep seeing the light. And that's what I've been doing. And the light keeps getting brighter and brighter. And once you just keep believing in yourself, and you be your own best friend and cheerleader, and you love yourself for who you are. And I'm a work in progress. I'm very hard on myself, but I'm a work in progress. And when you forgive yourself for everything that you've been through, and you heal from the inside out, you have that outer glow, and you don't allow the outside noise and those who do not get you for who you are, because they're comfortable in knowing the version that you once were. And maybe they refuse to see your evolution. And that's okay. That's on them, not you. You keep believing in you, keep trusting you, and you will get through this. I am, and I will continue to keep soaring, just like my beautiful butterflies. And I'm going to keep going because I'm on a mission. I'm fulfilling my soul mission, and it's beautiful.